China's peaceful rise. Sounds reassuring, doesn't it? But let me tell you the truth behind it. It's one of the most strategic lies that the Chinese Communist Party has ever told. Okay? You're going to hear this throughout the video here. You've probably heard it before. And you'll hear it from Western journalists and CEOs helping to keep their businesses alive. But again, it's all a lie. Think about what that phrase is really saying. A peaceful rise implies cooperation, stability, mutual respect. It suggests a country that's growing through honest trade, hard work, and diplomacy. But if you look at the headlines past the staged press conferences and red carpet meetings, you'll see the real picture. And it's not peaceful at all, okay? China's far from peaceful. They would like for everyone to believe that they're a super peaceful country, but they're not. Let's start in the South China Sea. China's been building artificial islands and militarizing them for years. Okay, they've been installing missile systems, landing strips, all these radar systems, all in disputed waters. Waters that don't belong to them under international law. They've harassed Filipino fishermen, threatened Vietnamese drilling operations, rammed into ships from smaller nations that dare to resist. That's not very peaceful, actually. In fact, most would consider that to be bullying. And they don't even hide it. Their official state media brags about reclaiming sovereignty and defending core interests. Such powerful words. What they mean is, we'll take whatever we want and no one can stop us. And then, don't even get me started about Taiwan. Every few weeks, the CCP sends dozens of military jets into Taiwan's air defense zone. They hold invasion drills, they run propaganda videos simulating attacks. This is a democratic independent island of 23 million people, and China is constantly threatening to invade it. That's not peace. That's a loaded gun pointed at a neighbor's head. Ask Japan, okay? Ask India. Ask Australia. Ask the Philippines. Ask Vietnam. Ask anyone who lives close enough to feel the heat of China's so-called peaceful rise. These countries are rearming. They're strengthening their allies and preparing for war. Not because they want conflict, but because they see that the writing is on the wall. Because they've watched how China operates. And they know peace is just a word that the CCP uses until they have enough leverage to drop the mask. But it's not just military aggression. China's rise has been anything but peaceful. And I'm talking economically here. Let's talk about intellectual property theft. For decades, China has built its tech sector by stealing blueprints, reverse engineering Western designs, and forcing companies into joint ventures where they're stripped of innovation. We're talking about trillions of dollars worth of stolen patents, stolen software, stolen research. That's not peaceful. That's economic warfare, actually. That's stealing, okay? Then there's this whole, the Belt and Road Initiative, the Belt and Road. It's China's big infrastructure program where they offer loans to developing countries in exchange for ports, roads, and railways. On paper, it looks generous. In reality, it's a debt trap. Countries like Sri Lanka, Zambia, and Pakistan have taken these loans only to find themselves drowning in debt, unable to repay, and forced to hand over strategic assets. Ports, power grids, communication hubs. China takes control. This isn't cooperation. This is colonization 2.0 dressed up in friendly language. Okay? And I'm American. I'm a white guy. No one has to tell me what colonization is. Trust me, we know, right? We know. But we're not making that mistake today, okay? And while they're buying up the developing world, they're also investing in political influence campaigns in the West. Confucius Institutes on college campuses. Chinese students' associations that report on their peers. Paid Western influencers who act like mouthpieces for Beijing while pretending that they're just travel vloggers. I'm a travel vlogger, being paid by the CCP. They're infiltrating our media, our tech, our schools, and our politics. And yet, the rise is peaceful. A peaceful rise. Let me ask you, if a country censors its own people, Okay, if it disappears critics, if it invades your waters, steals your technology, buys your silence, and threatens war with, you know, with a country that is participating in democracy, what part of that is peaceful? The truth is, China's rise isn't peaceful, hasn't been peaceful, and it's not going to be peaceful. It's just been quiet. It's been happening while most of the world was distracted. While our leaders were busy chasing cheap labor and easy profits, while corporations were falling over themselves to get access to a billion person market, okay, and while the media looked the other way in the name of balance or nuance, and now people are waking up, right? But let's be clear. This isn't about hating China. This isn't about the people. This isn't about culture. This is about the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, a regime that lies, manipulates, and does everything in its power to control the global narrative while playing victim at the same time. Okay? They tell you that, you're being unfairly treated. That people don't understand them. That, they just want to grow and develop peacefully. Okay? But it's hard to believe a man who punches you and then says, "Why are you hitting yourself?" Because that's what China does. The peaceful rise myth is powerful because it sounds like the world we want to live in. Who wouldn't want a rising power to succeed without conflict? But we can't let wishful thinking blind us to reality. Because the reality is, peace is not defined by shiny buildings or trade deals. Peace is defined by intentions, by behavior, by how a country treats those who disagrees with it. And on that front, the CCP has failed completely. They've cracked down on Hong Kong. They've imprisoned over 1 million Uyghurs. They've erased Tibet from the conversation completely. They've silenced doctors during COVID. They jailed journalists. They've exported surveillance tech, to dictators around the world. They've created a digital prison where people can't think, speak, or act freely. So no, I don't buy it. I've been there. I've seen it. I've talked to people living in the shadow of the so-called peaceful rise. I'm not going to stand here, or in this case, sit here, I guess you could say, and pretend that because the bullet train is just so damn fast that the system is working. We need to stop pretending, okay? We need to stop repeating their lies. Stop amplifying their talking points. Stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. This isn't a peaceful rise. This is a power grab. And the sooner the world sees that, the better chance we have of stopping it. Okay? We got to peel back the layers, challenge the narrative. And we're going to continue to say the things that they don't want you to say. Well, that's it for today's 30 for 30. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day.